So we're going to begin with this self-reflection. What thoughts, feelings, or sensations, or energy, emotions arise when I say to you, I'd like you to think about creating a self-care or self-practice routine. And I really want you to be open and honest with yourself and really get into the nitty-gritty of this. Now, we're not going to be analysing, criticising or judging this, scrutinising this in any way. I'm not going to ask you to share what your self-care routine is. This is simply an opportunity for you to reflect on what your current belief system or systems are around creating a self-care or self-practice routine. So just jot down a few words, a few sentences. What does it bring up for you? What does it trigger for you? Do you feel anxious about it? Do you feel excited or uplifted? Are there maybe some thoughts that come up? If it is that Morag? Hi, lovely. Hi, Morag. If we just give everybody a couple of minutes to write, no worries, no, absolutely no worries. I love your enthusiasm. I can't wait to hear what you've got to say. Just take one more moment and then we'll get into it. But I'm going to come to you first, so be ready. Okay. So yeah, what triggers you? How do you feel toward it? Does it fill you with dread? Does it inspire you? And again, I'm not going to ask you to share your deepest, darkest secrets, but I am going to ask you to share one word at least. So just giving you a moment to wrap up your reflection. And gently coming back into the space. So this is also a really wonderful way to cultivate the energy in the group. I know you've all been together now for a few workshops. So perhaps it's a bit more for me to get to know you a little bit. So please just share your name, just share something about yourself, maybe what you do or where you're from, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then if you could share one thing that came up for you just now in this reflection. So I'm going to start with you, Morag. Do now is I'd just like you to give me some hand signals. What if I told you that you absolutely can create a self-care or self-practice routine that suits your lifestyle, that is aligned to your way of living and your needs, and that is easy and accessible, that you can't get wrong, literally? How would that be for you? So you can give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or like a not really sure about that. Thumbs up. Okay, great. There's so many optimistic people today. I love it. I love it. I don't think I've had a thumbs down yet, but the thumbs down is okay. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to share with you my top tips for creating an infallible morning routine or daily routine, because it doesn't have to be in the morning. That's going to be one of my things. And then I'm going to show you a really easy peasy but very powerful, very important technique of checking in with yourself. Okay, So I'm going to get straight into it. Now, it's taken me a while to get to this point, and I certainly was not always great at doing self-care or self-practice. But I had this idea in my mind of how self-practice or self-care should look. And one of the things that I've noticed is that actually there are a lot of gurus out there telling us how we should live our lives, and that this practice is better than this practice, and we should be spending 3 hours a day doing yoga. And I've noticed that there's this sort of trifecta stereotype of what self-practice or self-care looks like. It's going to the gym, meditating, and doing yoga, and owning some sexy yoga pants. And, you know, I get it. It's really alluring. And I have fallen prey to it, and I have, a few pairs of nice yoga pants. But actually, it's not realistic. It's not really reflective of the diversity of people, the diversity of experience, and the diversity of needs. Okay, so first of all, I want to reassure you that you absolutely do not have to follow any preordained paradigmic, I don't even know if it's a word, dogmatic idea of what self-care or self-practice is. And the most empowering thing that you can do for yourself, which to me is the epitome of what self-care or self-practice is, particularly in the moment self-practice, the most powerful thing that you can do is allow yourself to be however you are, however you need to be in each moment, to allow that to be okay, and to acknowledge that that's where you're at. That, to me, is self-care, self-practice. Because if we're not doing that, and we're just trying to throw ourselves into the next thing on our to-do list, meditate, read a book, go and do, go and paint my nails, if we're just throwing ourselves in things because we have this idea that we have to do it, because otherwise we're not being kind to ourselves, we're not really practicing self-care or self-practice. We're just doing more. We're being more productive. We're trying to achieve more. And self-care and self-practice is about really honoring who you are, where you are, and what your needs are in that moment. So the first thing that I teach people is to be flexible and adaptable, and allow yourself on a day-to-day basis to flow into whatever it is that you need. So if you had a stressful day, if you had a heavy day, if you were working with people, if you were around a lot of traumatized, anxious people, then you might decide that you want to discharge or diffuse that energy by going for a walk in nature, or you might want to dance and shake it out, or you might want to talk to somebody about it. But that might change on a daily basis. It might change according to time of day, but the point is that you're tuning into what you need right now in this moment and allowing yourself to give you what you need. So having that flexibility of time as well. It would be really wonderful if you could dedicate 3 hours a day to your self-care, but who has 3 hours a day in the morning when you've got children and you've got partners and you've got communities that are relying on you? If you can even take 5 minutes, but make those 5 minutes count, even if it's in the car, even if it's lying in bed before you get up, if you can make those 5 minutes count, if you can do what's most important, which is to ground into your sense of self, into yourself, to acknowledge where you're at in that moment, on that day, in that minute, how have you woken up feeling? If you can do that, then you're going to set yourself up. You're going to set the tone for the whole day, because the amount that you can give to others is directly related to the amount that you can receive from yourself. And receiving from yourself isn't about consuming self-care. It's about being self-care. It's about caring for yourself. It's about checking in, that fundamental self-love, checking in. Who am I today? who is up, what personalities are here, what parts of me are up, what parts of me are triggered, what do I need for this day to be smoother, and acknowledging that. You don't have to do it all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is acknowledging where you're at in that moment. Having that for me has been the biggest thing, is learning to just let go of the need to do, to be productive. That's an energy that runs through me that I'll probably be working on in the rest of my life. But the thing is that I can see it clearer now because I allow myself to see it. I allow myself to acknowledge it. If we're just pushing it away, if we're pushing away that discomfort, if we have that judgment and criticism of ourselves, right, that comes up, if we push that judgment or criticism away because it feels too uncomfortable to even look at, then it takes a hold of us and it becomes overwhelming because the voice just gets louder. But if we acknowledge the judgment and criticism that we have of ourselves, if we actually bring that into our consciousness and say, I acknowledge that thought is there, it has less of a hold on us, and in time it doesn't become overwhelming, and we can see it quicker and we can transcend it quicker. So boundaries are really important. It's really important that we have our own personal boundaries, we have our own personal space. A lot of people have an altar or a space in their home, a sacred space that they go to meditate or to sing or to dance or whatever. And letting people around us, particularly our family members that we live with, know why self-care is important to us, and that we will be doing self-care from time to time, and that those times should be respected. So often if I'm going to be going and taking myself out for an hour, I'll tell my husband, I'm going upstairs, please don't disturb me. I'm going to be doing this for myself, and I won't get disturbed. And I notice when I don't tell him that, he'll shout up at me and be like, oh, such and such is on the phone, or can you come down and help me with this? So it's really important to honor yourself, because it's a big thing to do for ourselves, to just say, I'm going to take this time out and I'm going to let others know. It's like you're making that commitment, you're devoting that time, and it's a really, really big deal. And the more times you do that, the more trust you build in your sense of self, okay? So timing is really important. Timing, so what I don't mean is like, you've got to spend a lot of time. What I mean is, allow yourself to flow and be adaptable with your daily routine, and give yourself the time that you need that day. So if you need 2 hours a day, take 2 hours. If you need 5 minutes a day, take 5 minutes, okay? But make that time count. I now spend the morning doing self-care. Between 9 and 12, I do self-care. I don't have any meetings, I don't have anything, unless I can help it, like today. I'm 5 hours behind you, so obviously my morning has been dedicated to this. But ordinarily, it's like a, what's the word? It's something that I do not change unless I really have to. And I do anything that I want to do within that time. I cook. I do my morning practice. I meditate. I go for a walk in nature. I speak to my mother. I do things that I love doing that are really important to me and that help to diffuse stress and help to diffuse anxiety. I really tune into myself and what I need that day. I might read a book, I might dance. I have a holistic view of what a self-care routine or self-practice routine should look like. So that can be anything from dancing, singing, painting, being in nature, through to getting a personal trainer or going to the gym. Doing whatever you feel helps you to dissipate and diffuse that energy, to drop into your sense of self and empower your soul energy. Because let's face it, every single one of you is here because you care about having an impact on your families, on your communities, and ultimately on humanity. And that takes somebody with a strong soul, with a big heart. You all have the innate wisdom that you need to know what is right and relevant for you in your life. And never let any guru out there tell you that you don't, that you require something or somebody else. No yogic technology, energy technology, mindness, set technique is more powerful than your innate sense of self. There is nothing more powerful than your own knowing, your own wisdom of what is right for you. And all you've got to do is drop into that and remember and take action. So nutrition, hydration is really important. First thing in the morning. Energy work, we are energy. We are energy. We are made of energy. And this isn't, we don't just need energy to give to others, to do our businesses. We ourselves need energy to function optimally. So our vital life force energy is really important. We've got to cultivate that energy. We can't just sit here and expect energy to just like, yes, it is naturally coming in through us, but if we're spending a lot of energy on others, particularly working with really vulnerable people, we've got to cultivate that energy to give that energy. We cannot create our dream life and our dream lifestyle, our most successful business, our most successful potential of ourselves, if we do not cultivate energy. It is absolutely key and vital. Now for you, it might be doing yoga and Reiki, and for me, cultivating energy might be taking a walk in nature. Okay, it's whatever resonates with you, because we are all uniquely different. Music is such an important part of self-care. Don't forget to put music on. Shake and move the body. It gets us into our heart space like that. It activates our soul energy like that. And nature is the most effective way of diffusing and grounding excess energy, stress, anxiety, worry, fear. Mother Nature uses that as her compost, and she returns nourishing life force energy to us. So don't forget to walk barefoot in nature, absorb the sun's rays, breathe in the trees, sit next to a tree, allow yourself to be held and also be grounded by nature. Super important for those of you working with people, especially working on the level of trauma. Okay. So I'm going to teach you a very simple technique. So I want you to put down your pens and paper and place your palms on your lap or on your knees or your thighs. And I want you to just sit on a chair or the floor and allow your back to be straight, but I don't want you to scrunch up. I want you to relax into your posture, okay? But just strong, straight back, but relaxed, okay? And I want you to gently close your eyes and just simply start to breathe. Just notice your breath. Notice the flow of your breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. That's it. And as you're breathing, take your attention down to the base of your spine or to your legs, and establish that connection with the floor, with the earth beneath you. So see yourself, feel yourself anchored into the earth, into this present moment. Grounded, stable. And bringing your attention back into your body now, notice how you're feeling, any sensations or any thoughts in this present moment that are arising. So you might have a feeling, an ache or pain, a sensation in a particular part of your body. Simply take your attention there. There might be thoughts coming up, voices coming up. Maybe some voice reminding you of something you have to do later, perhaps a distraction. Just notice it. Maybe you're seeing visions or images or scenes. Again, just notice it. And when you notice what's arising in your body, in your mind, in your energy, simply acknowledge. So acknowledge that you can hear it, acknowledge that you can feel it, acknowledge that you can see it. Just acknowledge it. Thank it and give it gratitude for showing up. And slowly bring your attention back into the room, back into the space, and gently open your eyes. So ladies, that was my technique of how to ground and tune in to this present moment, which I do every day, even if you have 20 seconds. If you can incorporate that as a regular practice throughout your day, that for me is what self-care and self-practice is. We literally have 10 seconds. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you all at the panel. Lots of love.